Hi, my name is Jeff Wergen, and this is my Art in the Industry interview. The person I'll be interviewing is Mark Krieger. I asked Mark the required questions, and these are his answers. This was Mark's response to question number one. Nobel Prize winner Isaac Singer had once said, when asked what the purpose of literature was, he responded simply, to entertain and to instruct. This obviously is an understatement, but I feel it still applies today as it did back then. Here is Mark's insight on question number two. It is no coincidence that with all the dawn of all these mass media technologies we're seeing a rapid decrease in literary fiction readership. I think the effect is obvious. Suddenly all of America's attention deficit people, and particularly new generations of kids that have been born into and saturated by computers, video games, iPods, iPhones, tweeting, television, etc., etc. They find books in general somewhat unbearable, punishing, or something to be suffered through via school or parents. One of the numerous unintended consequences of these technologies is that they tend to keep people on the surface of life, whereas literary fiction seeks to explore beneath it and at the same time to entertain in a meaningful way. More and more, we don't have patience for books. Technology has influenced fiction to the point where books are literally now written as though movies. New York Times bestseller Monster by Walter Myers comes to mind. In short, it is creating a more shallow, impatient, disconnected, and materialistic culture altogether. And I feel they serve better as a practical tool to help in the respective meaningful ways, and not for us to serve them. I asked Mark questions to 3 and 4, but he thought they pertained specifically to film or television for some reason. His answers for both questions were, I had to skip questions 3 and 4 simply because I don't have any answers for it. I watch so very little TV and movies. Here's what Mark believes for question number 5. Three writers who have influenced my writing greatly are Dennis Johnson for his book Jesus' Son, Cormac McCarthy for Blood Meridian, and John Steinbeck for Grapes of Wrath, The Peril of Mice and Men. As far as my favorite style, I'm always drawn to spare, intense, breathtakingly beautiful prose, always leaving you wanting more. That creates original, fierce, hallucinatory imagery. To this, I tip my hat to Johnson and McCarthy, and to Steinbeck for his heart and great storytelling. And finally, here's Mark's answer to question number 6. You study great works in order to write them. You read everything you can about them, learn their structure and style, notice and identify what specifically it is that you like about them. What was the setup that triggered your reaction? Learning to be a competent writer means learning to be a good reader. To study how it's done.